So I had some questions that I had like written down so that you guys would get to know me, so that I do this thing a whole lot differently in a way that makes me excited. I wrote the questions because I was like scared to ask you guys to ask me questions, because I was like, I think no one's gonna answer, so I made them myself. Disclaimer, I feel really anxious as I'm doing this, and this is probably like my fifth or sixth take, so don't be hard on me. I'm winging this with my new microphone that I hope works. So my name is B Pumelela, which is like a double entendre. B for my last name, Bandezi. Also B Pumelela because the name Pumelela in Xhosa and Zulu and other Nguni languages basically means succeed. So it's like B, success, you know? I don't know. It just makes sense to me. So I kind of like referring to myself as B Pumelela. My name is B Pumelela. I'm 26 years old. I turned 26 on the 24th of March. I was at 2028, but 2024, which is this year, I turned 26, yes. I am a South African living abroad. I teach in South Korea. I've been teaching for just over a year. So that's about me. Life abroad. I've been in Korea for like a year, like I said, for over a year actually. And it's really been good. The good outweighs the bad. Obviously, there's some situations that are like, man, I just want to go home. But I think the good outweighs the bad in a sense that ever since I came here, I've grown into myself because I do everything alone. I live alone. I'm in a foreign country. I've never been afraid of doing things alone, which is why I came here. I've never feared it. I think I've always had like a sense of independence. Traveling through this country, 90% of the time I've been doing it alone, and I enjoy it. I love it because I think I get to learn a lot more about myself. I really just fallen in love with who Pumelela is because I spend so much time with myself, and I hope I'm answering the question. But yeah, I think to just summarize it, I think what made it fun is because I have myself. You get it? Like, I'm my best friend, so it makes it so fun. Okay, so I have, and who would have thought I would really, and I have, and I'm putting it out into the universe. Okay, I have two places I'd love to go to. Firstly, I'd love to travel to Africa because I've always wanted it. When I was a child, there was a lady called Precious Africa, and she had a no, she's actually Precious Coffee. She's on YouTube. She has a channel now, which I'm obsessed with. But she had this channel and she used to travel through Africa, and I used to be so fascinated by it. And I remember then I was like, I'd love to travel through Africa, East Africa, into like Egypt and Morocco. And I'd also love to go to obviously Nigeria and Ghana. So that's number one. Number two, since being here, I would really love to go to Japan. I want to go to Japan so bad. And I don't know, maybe it's because I'm living in Korea and it's so close. But also like other countries too. My favorite food, it's called ulusu, which is basically steamed bread. So ulus is not steamed bread. I like steamed bread and ulus. So ulus is basically tripe. I love it. And growing up, I hated that thing. I didn't get it. It was just like so dirty. But I love it. Like if I was on death row and they're like, okay, I'd have that. Ulusu, steamed bread, that's it. That's it. I'm good. Ideally, I have ideas as to how I do it. But okay, how do I do it? I journal. I like to journal. I like to journal in the morning. I've since like fallen in love. As soon as I wake up and just pouring all of my thoughts, I go to the beach, which is like right here, to reset, to sort of recenter, which is why I came here. This is literally after work. The time is probably 7 p.m. now. I came here after work. I was like, let me just go to the beach because I had a long day. Basically, what I'm doing right now is me when I'm resetting. I like to come to this place because it's such a beautiful contrast with, like I'm saying, the forest and the ocean. And yeah, so journaling, the ocean, prayer, obviously. I pray. And I listen to worship music. Shout out to Oli AM. Like, she has taken me through. Yeah. So yeah, I would tell younger me, which could be a day ago. I was younger a day ago. Younger me, I would tell her to be a lot more comfortable with who she is, to embrace who she is. It sounds so cliche, but I think I grew up being very unsure of who I am. I wanted everyone to be so happy. I think I would tell younger me like, bruh, I think it's because I didn't have the language for it, and a lot of the feelings that I was feeling, I never had the language for it. And obviously you grow up and you realize, oh, it's anxiety, that's what I was feeling, and I'm doing moods or whatever. I also don't blame myself, but if I were to speak to young Apumelela, I'd be like, don't be so hard on yourself, baby. Like, I promise, this is not the end of the world. Don't be so hard on yourself. And also, I would tell her to save, to learn about finances, you know? I've just made some poor financial decisions. I would have told her to be intentional. I think I did a lot of things because I can and not because I wanted to. I wish she was a lot more intentional and she didn't just do it because it's available to her, whether it was going out or the people I hung around or the people I dated. They just, when I look back, I'm like, what the hell was that? I think I also just had like low self. It's just a lot I'll tell her. I think number one, or maybe number two, I don't know. Babe, be intentional. Just, but also I can't tell her that if she's still anxious and she's not sure about who she is. So I'd be like, I'd assure her. I don't know. This season of my life, honestly, if I had to be honest, I know I have so many answers. Like I'll be honest and then I'll say 5 things. It's called vulnerability. This is what the season of my life. Me speaking to you guys like this and like talking about myself for me feels very, very vulnerable. I'm putting this thing on the internet. People are gonna see it. I've been sort of like thinking a lot about how I feel, why I feel the things that I feel, and also trying to give myself permission to try. Not just to be seen trying, but also just giving myself permission to try. So, 2 months ago, I joined a swimming class because I don't know how to swim. I've never swam. And I realized that it's a life skill that's actually very important. So I joined a swimming class, like, and I was like the worst in my class. Like, it's a beginner class, and I'm like the worst, bruh. But I gave myself permission and I was vulnerable enough in front of those people to show that I don't know, I didn't have to pretend like I do. And I'm learning through it and I've learned things about myself. I've learned how if I put my mind to something, like I think I'm a better swimmer than I was when I started. Granted, I'm still not the best. So I think that's what the season of my life is, just being vulnerable and giving myself permission to try, even if that means I have to be seen trying. Especially with this YouTube video. I think I'm really just growing a lot this past few weeks where I'm just putting things into perspective, especially the things that I like, and just being honest with myself. I've just been learning. Yeah, this season of my life has just been me learning a lot. Just yeah, I told you I was gonna name 5 things, but I think I'd call it vulnerability because I want to do this channel a lot more intentionally, and I'm being honest about what I want for it and what I want to achieve with this, which is something I wouldn't do ordinarily. I'd feel like, oh, you don't have to say that. Gosh, now you're just gonna look so stupid. Like, oh, guys, I'm trying to do this channel, and but so what? So what? If the world was beautiful and I could do whatever I wanted, I would be I'd be a YouTuber. I'm so serious. I'd be a YouTuber. I'd be a full-time YouTuber and I'd have a farm. That's my dream job. But I don't think I want a farm as a business because then it wouldn't be fun for me anymore. But I also know that I'd love to sustain myself with just having a farm. But I think my dream job, if I can just own my time, that's a dream job for me. How do I deal with anxiety and doubt? I pray and I cry. I cry. Okay, first I'll be anxious, super anxious, and I'll be doubtful, and then I'll pray about it. I'll be like, God, in the name of Jesus, like, get this away from me, because sometimes I'm like, I rebuke the spirit, and if it's like persisting, I'll try to interrogate why. So if I feel like super anxious, like at work, I'm feeling super anxious, I'll be like, okay, let's break it down. Why are you anxious? Okay, why would that make you feel anxious? And like I think I just work backwards to find the root, and in most cases I find that a lot of what makes me anxious is a lot of insecurities that I hold. So because I'm insecure about something and maybe I see someone doing it, it makes me feel anxious and make me feel like, oh my god. And I'm being honest, I'm working on it. Oh, does that mean I suck or whatever? And then, so I think a lot of my anxiety is very much rooted in some insecurities that whenever I try to retrace it, I realize that it's just a flaw in me. It's an insecurity that I need to work on. Biggest challenge I've had to face? I think losing my grandmother. Oh God. I don't want to get into it, but damn, that was painful and challenging. Still is. It was like a month ago. Very big challenge. Still going through it. And I guess also moving to this country, I've had to talk through myself. I've had to talk to myself through a lot of things. So that's probably one of my biggest challenges to date, where it's like my favorite book. Guys, I know I was reading this book like in December, I know that. But I'm going to tell you now, I haven't finished it. And it's not because it's a bad book. It's because I haven't been prioritizing it, which I'm getting into now. I've been progressing because I think I just fell out of it and I don't want to just read it for the sake of finishing it. I still want to be a lot more intentional. So my favorite book by far, so far, All About Love by Bell Hooks. So many points. Let me know if you guys would like a review. I really loved The Yearning by Mohale Mashiko. I think that's how you say her name. Really enjoyed that book. I think I'm also realizing like the kind of books that I like. I like books that are... I like stories, but I think I gravitate a lot more towards books that are very social, political. Obviously, I'm not reading political books, but I like books that are... like I'll read it and I'm like... that talk about things that are happening. Not self-help books necessarily, even though I'm reading a self-help book right now because I'm trying to get myself out of this situation I find myself in life where I'm a procrastinator and so I'm reading a self-help book. But I find that I really like books that talk about the world, but not too political, but I don't know. I think we have gotten to the end of the video because one, my battery is going to die very soon. I'm using my camera. Please watch my videos so that I can buy myself a camera. I really am going to buy myself a camera at the end of the year if I can get to 500 subscribers. I'm saving for the camera, but I need to get to 500. Like, I need to know that it's going to be worth something, you know? So yeah, I have to go now. I really like this. I'm gonna go to the beach now, see the ocean. It's so beautiful at night with the sunset. I love it, and I'm really excited that I made this video. Hope you guys like it just as much as I enjoyed making it for you. I really hope that you like, you comment, you share, you watch, and most importantly, you subscribe to my YouTube channel. I love you so much.